In this episode, we bring to life a side view of China's capital city, Beijing. The derailment of a local train, the tight surveillance, the development of artificial intelligence that relies on the enormous arithmetic power generated by the surveillance, the lives of the grassroots that are virtually worthless in the eyes of the party, the unfathomable secrets behind the fires, and the red sky over Zhongnanhai, the CCP's headquarters. They are intertwined to form a scene before an avalanche. First, let's look at a major train incident. On December 14, 2023, just after 7 p.m., during rush hour, a serious accident occurred on the Chongping line of Beijing subway. Two carriages at the end of the subway train broke apart and derailed. At least 515 people were hospitalized, 102 suffered broken bones and other injuries. Nearly 1,000 passengers were evacuated during the snowy night. Such accidents are unusual in the capital city of Beijing. It took place in the north of Beijing, near a busy business district with many internet and startup companies. Here, someone fainted from being suffocated in the train compartment. Doors are shut, there was no air circulation.
Luckily, I wasn't standing at the connecting section. I was on the subway and the train snapped open.
Passengers took pictures of the broken train. Inside it, it was pitch black. People used their cell light to get out of the train. Some were kicking windows, trying to get out. The ceiling inside the train was damaged and bent. Police arrived and they broke down the door to rescue the stranded train driver, while others evacuated passengers. Passengers later took to social media or spoke to the press to share their experiences. Some said, "The train felt like it couldn't stop, and all of a sudden there was a loud crash, and then the people in front of me and behind me started to fall. I heard the people in front of me say that someone was hurt, and they said that one train carriage was snapped open." Others said, "There was a loud noise, people fell to the ground, and the glass was shattered due to the shockwave. Some passengers were thrown out of the train compartment and fell onto the tracks due to the huge impact. Many passengers lost their cell phones due to the impact, and they scrambled to locate them. It was a chaotic sight. It happened to be snowy in Beijing with a temperature of -5 degrees Celsius or 23 degrees Fahrenheit. The snow has been falling since 2 days ago. Nearly 1,000 passengers had to wait for help in the train that lost power at one point during the temperature drop. Those who could walk left the train and groped their way along the tracks. A passenger described the situation as such. "I felt helpless. There was nothing I could do." The taxi app said over 200 people were trying to hail a ride at the same time. One described her experience to overseas Chinese media. She made a diagram. This woman believes that CP024 was decoupled, causing CP032 to rear-end CP024, and that the decoupled car was where she was. However, some netizens revealed on social media that it was CP032 that rear-ended CP024, causing it to decouple from the train. It isn't certain if the rear-end collision occurred before or after the decoupling. The Beijing MTR Corporation apologized and was willing to cover the medical cost of the injured passengers. On December 14th, the government announced that the number of injured people was more than 30. But by noon on December 15th, the number increased to 515. They were admitted for examination. 102 of those suffered broken bones and were hospitalized. The woman interviewed by overseas Chinese language media said the officials didn't say if they would be compensated for their injuries, but only told them to contact the railway department for reimbursement of medical expenses. According to the video and photos from the scene, Beijing Metro didn't seem to have coordinated the rescue efficiently and didn't take precautions against secondary accidents. The scene appeared out of control. In the end, most of the passengers were transported by rescue buses to a designated location, from where they took a taxi home. Some said they didn't get home till early morning at 12:30 a.m. On December 15th, the Beijing Municipal Commission of Transportation said that after a preliminary investigation, the cause of the accident was snowy track slippage led to the signal degradation and emergency braking of the front vehicle. But the rear vehicle failed to brake in time, resulting in a rear-end collision. Chinese netizens have their own views on the actual cause. Prior to the accident on December 10th, a netizen posted, "Beijing Metro Line 13, if it isn't repaired, I am afraid that the subway might fall apart, breaking into two pieces." However, after the accident on December 14th, this person got scared and quickly clarified, "Friends, I really didn't mean to spread panic. Look, this is the wreckage of the accident." After the accident, when passengers boarded the subway, they avoided the connecting part between the cars. Everyone seemed scared. The Chinese media have called for a review of its annual maintenance budget for the Beijing subway, which exceeds US $280 million. The media says it should be checked for counterfeits and substandard parts, and there should be a comprehensive inspection of the faulty parts of the Beijing Metro, as well as the supply sources, to avoid the recurrence of similar incidents. According to public information, the line where the accident occurred is part of the Beijing Metro system, connecting the city to the Chongping district. The commission section is 43.2 kilometers long, with a total of 18 stations. It went into operation on December 28, 2010. The Chongping line utilizes a signaling system that is fully developed in mainland China. Publicly available information also shows that the main owner of the Beijing Metro lines is Beijing Infrastructure Investment Company, a state-owned enterprise. It also operates a number of other companies. The 2022 annual report of Beijing Infrastructure Investment Company in April 2023 also showed that it received a total subsidy of 26.3 billion yuan, an increase of 22.43% from 2021. And nearly 3.2 times higher than the 6.3 billion in 2019. The annual report shows that as patronage declines but operating costs rise, subsidies are needed to ensure operations. Several analysts cite the huge security fees as a major reason for the company's soaring costs. In other words, Chinese people are being controlled and monitored ever more strictly. Publicly available data shows the 2022 corporate costs of 3 of Beijing's leading subway operators suffered heavy losses. Among them, the Beijing subway operator had an operating cost of around US $1.8 billion, out of which labor costs took up roughly half, with safety and security costs amounting to $180 million and administration costs $100 million.
After seeing this picture, I finally came to realize why the Beijing Metro is losing money. There are 4 security guards at each exit. If you count at least 4 exits in a station, plus other ticketing staff, there are at least 30 people working a shift in one station. 2 shifts a day is 60 people, plus those who are on vacation, that's 84 people. There are 446 stations in Beijing. With a conservative estimate of 55,000 people, the daily salary of each person is calculated according to the minimum of 200 yuan, and the cost for security personnel alone is 11 million yuan per day. The daily passenger volume is 6.2 million, and the revenue is 31 million according to the fare of 5 yuan per person, which means that more than 30% of the cost is spent on the security personnel. That means more than 30% of the cost is spent on security, with the cost of cleaning staff, drivers, customer service, maintenance equipment, electricity, etc. It would be strange if the company doesn't incur a loss.
A netizen commented, "At first, I was supportive of the MTR and buses having more security guards to protect the safety of people. But then I gradually realized that their decision to do so, in fact, had nothing to do with the people. It's because they are scared and they are nervous." In the face of an economic downturn and serious fiscal deficits, will this huge financial expenditure be the last straw that breaks the camel's back? Let's look at a fire breaking out in Beijing. At 1 a.m. on December 10, 2023, a fire broke out on Beijing's Ox Street. Video footage shows the scene of the accident. With smoke rolling, the fire was higher than a 6-story building, and 3 firewater jets were directed at the smoke in the air across the street from the fire. The angle of the video wasn't facing the fire, but rather watching the fire from some other buildings. Judging from the height of the water hoses, the fire seemed much worse than what was seen in the video. Ox Street is located in Beijing's Xicheng district in the vicinity of Zhongnanhai and the Forbidden City Museum. It is about 5 kilometers from Zhongnanhai in a straight line, a 20-minute drive. It's even closer to Tiananmen Square and adjacent to Beijing's financial street. Ox Street is the largest Muslim settlement in Beijing, formed around the Song and Yuan dynasties when many Muslim adherents from Central Asia gradually settled and underwent nearly 1,000 years of development. After 1949, Ox Street became a propaganda window for the CCP's ethnic policy, and many CCP leaders made special trips to visit the area. After the fire, China's web was silent about it. Apart from 2 or 3 videos on overseas platform X and YouTube, there were no other reports concerning this fire from mainland Chinese media and social media, including Weibo and Douyin, the Chinese version of TikTok. A Beijing-based netizen posted on Douyin, "I don't get it, we really don't understand. There was a big fire in front of my home and I wanted to post a video. I wasn't allowed. We really don't get it." One netizen wrote, "The fact that such a big fire broke out in Beijing shows the backwardness of the management team. The awareness of risk prevention is far below the slogan being cried out, and the safety check mechanism is far from being up with the sudden outbreak of disasters." Another netizen sarcastically said, "It's said that deleting posts and banning speech can reduce the fire." On December 1, 2023, a rare aurora appeared in Beijing, and the sky was turned into a blood-red color. Ancient Chinese believed in the unity of heaven and mankind. The heavenly phenomena correspond to the earthly ones. Ancient texts consider the appearance of blood-colored skies and rivers of blood to be evil omens, and traditionally they are harbingers of military troubles. For example, in the Ming Dynasty, at the time when Emperor Changzhen hanged himself on a mountain, the vision of sky red as blood occurred. As early as May 2022, the city of Zhoushan in Zhejiang Province and the city of Fuzhou in Fujian Province had blood-red skies. Both places are closely related to the current CCP leader Xi Jinping. He was in charge of Zhejiang Province from 2002 to 2007, and the place is considered to be where he rose to power. Zhoushan is also an important city to Xi.
Is the sky falling? Yes. Why is it so red?
Wow, the sky is red. You guys need to come out and take a look.
What kind of weather is this?
The sky is like this. I'm so scared. Is the world going to end? This was the sky in a coastal city in eastern China, filmed at around 8 p.m. on May 7th, 2022. The sky, which should have been dark, turned bloody red and looked very eerie.
Fuzhou was an important stage in Xi's bureaucratic career. He spent a full 17 years in officialdom of Fujian province and 12 years in Fuzhou city. It was a place where he presided over for a long while.
3 days later, the sky in another city also turned red. I don't know what's going on. The sky is all red. Local officials adopted the other city's narrative, claiming it was due to the fishing boat lights. Weibo users have ridiculed and questioned such an explanation. How come fishing boats are piling up with red lights? They never used to have red lights.
Now that the bloody sky appeared in Beijing, the political center of the CCP, doesn't mean that the situation at the top of Zhongnanhai is getting more menacing. Our channel presents odd phenomena occurring in China that used to be rare in the past 100 years. But in the last few years, it has become increasingly frequent, to the point that Chinese people have grown somewhat indifferent. To some people, it's just another natural phenomena. After the blood-red skies, Beijing was quickly greeted by heavy snow and blizzards. The widespread snowfall in China began on December 10th. Temperatures in the city of nearly 22 million could drop to as low as minus 18 degrees Celsius or minus 0.4 degrees Fahrenheit this weekend, compared to the mid-December average of about minus 8 degrees Celsius or 17.6 degrees Fahrenheit.
I think the phenomena is quite normal according to the current changes in the Earth. The Earth is constantly changing. The cold air in the south and north are not too even. There are times when it's not cold in the south in the winter, and when it's supposed to be cold in the north, it's not cold. I think the Earth is changing our experience. The sun and the Earth don't change according to our will, but we have to do our best to adapt to this new environment.
On December 13th, primary and secondary schools and kindergartens in the city of Beijing were closed due to the heavy snowfall. Our child is in primary school now. All schools have been suspended and they do online classes at home. There was some impact on our daily life, but in terms of buying daily essentials like food takeout, it's very convenient. You can order from home and it's delivered to your door. Old people and children don't have to go out. The Beijing Municipal Emergency Management Bureau recommended staggered work schedules and flexible working hours for employees of enterprises and institutions. Meanwhile, starting from December 13th, almost all parks and scenic areas in Beijing were temporarily closed. A number of railroads were shut down. On the one hand, the snow brings a lot of joy to the people of Beijing. On the other hand, some people feel miserable. Let's take a look at two heartwarming moments. A giant panda was seen rolling around playfully in Beijing Zoo after the first snowfall of winter arrived. The children had a great time playing in the grand and beautiful Forbidden City. Let's take a look at the delivery man who sleeps under a bridge. He has nowhere to go when the snow starts to fall. This should not be the worst of times. Workers in China often say, if the economy is in recession, at least we can deliver food or work as a courier. We won't starve as long as we have an able body. That's why the Chinese economic media listed China's top 10 economic characteristics in 2023. The number one is the streets are full of takeout delivery and courier workers. Many Chinese may not realize that the path for delivery workers is getting increasingly tough. China is making a big push to develop unmanned vehicles for delivery. The Beijing high-level autonomous driving demonstration zone, situated in Yizhuang, an economic technology zone in southeast of the capital, has transformed the town into a sci-tech innovation hub with trendy and advanced autonomous driving scenarios. We have 218 unmanned delivery vehicles running in the BDA alone. The total number of packages delivered by our unmanned vehicles has surpassed 36 million, and the safe driving mileage across the country has exceeded 6.2 million kilometers. Since its establishment 3 years ago in the Beijing Economic and Technological Development Area, BDA, or Yizhuang, the demonstration zone has attracted a number of autonomous enterprises. As of March 2023, it housed 19 testing enterprises, with a total of 578 connected vehicles autonomously driving a remarkable total distance of 14.49 million kilometers. Notably, prominent companies like Baidu, Pony AI, and SenseTime have settled in the zone, while leading car manufacturers such as BAIC and Audi have taken the lead in conducting regular testing. Currently, we have received over 4.1 million orders and completed over 70 million kilometers of operational testing. We have the largest patent portfolio for autonomous driving in the world. We owe all of these achievements to our powerful computing center. Actually, the demonstration zone in Yizhuang has incubated a supercenter gathering the computing strength of various companies. This is the capital of China right now. On the snow-covered streets of Beijing, everything is happening, but nothing seems to be happening at all.